Get back in shape, 5 simple steps. So you may want to grab pen and paper. I'm going to share with you 5 simple steps to help you get back in shape. So if you're driving or working out, you can just listen and maybe absorb it that way. But if you do have a chance to take notes, there's going to be a couple times where you might want to have something to write down with so that you can lock it in. Because first we're going to go over your goals. So first things first, before the 5 simple steps, just want to make sure we're doing volume check, is I want you to consider having a clear, specific goal, right? So that's what in fitness and in a lot of things, goals are very important. I spent a lot of time with a lot of people that try to excel in the things in their lives. And if you are in personal development, you will find out that goals are very, very important. So with fitness, whether you've done it yet or not, maybe this is your first time setting a goal, or maybe you're an expert at setting a goal. Sometimes I feel like I overestimate where you might be with things. But whether you're, this is your first major goal you want to set as a fitness goal, or if you're a professional goal setter, we're going to do a goal setting exercise right now for your fitness to get you back in shape, right? So the first thing we're going to do is just imagine. I want you to imagine if you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could have your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be between now and next year, this time next year. You could have your health, your body, your energy, any kind of way you wanted it to be. What would that look like for you? Think about that. What would that look like for you? So get clear and specific. Now, dial it in your mind. That's really good. If you can, I want you to get to a point where you can visualize it, right? Okay. All right. So where you can visualize it, right? So get really clear in there so you can visualize your goal. And then take it a step further. I want you to actually put a specific number to it. For example, like a body weight and a body fat percentage, right? Sometimes you can even use a BMI, but my favorite specific goal measurements are a body weight and a body fat percent. It doesn't get much clearer than that. Now, these days, there's a lot of cool scans we can do. It gives you all kind of data. But a really easy way, I want to share with you how to kind of determine what your body fat is and what your goal body fat percent could be, is to go online and do an image search for body fat percentages, right? So you do an image search for body fat percentages, right? And you have to say men or women, body fat percentages, and look up images. Oftentimes, you should be able to find a selection of images where they have like one image will have, like for the men and women, they'll have like the lean percent all the way to a very overweight person, right? So at some point you become lean, and then at some point we get to where we're overweight, and then at some point you get to where someone is obese, right? But you can see where you're at on the scale if you look at it, and it'll say, okay, am I 30%? Am I 20%? Am I 10%? And you can look at it on the picture. So this is what I encourage you to do if you want to get into this, is you try to find yourself on the image. Like, where am I? Look at the images. You say, I'm a 20% body fat currently. Just use that as an example. And you say, well, I want to be 10%, for example. So that's your goal, okay? So maybe you're 180 pounds or whatever. Let's just use easy numbers. Say you're 200 pounds and you're 20% body fat and you're male, and you want to be, 10% body fat. So you might have to go down to about 180, right? Something like that. So, but a clear, specific goal is you can say, yes, I want to be 180 pounds, 10% body fat. That's just an example. You can use. So I encourage you, what is it for you? So I'll just use me as an example in this exercise. We can get more of a feel, because I want you to set that goal. If you're watching this and you're listening, I encourage you to get clear and specific on your fitness goal, right? So for me, for example, my goal, and I just adjusted it a couple of months ago, and that's the good thing about goals. Anyway, you can adjust your goals. So now my goal is that I am happy and grateful that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat, right? That is a clear and specific goal, right? That I see how, and then see how I phrased it up. That's what I want you to take away from this lesson today. If you're interested in taking a lesson away, is how to set up an affirmation around your fitness goal. And it's simple. And here it is. I am happy and grateful now that I am. And then you plug in your body weight and you plug in your body fat percent. So once you get that down, now you have a clear, specific goal, and you are already winning right there. Once you have a target that you know that you're heading to in your fitness journey, that's the beauty about it, is you know exactly where to go. And that's how our brain works. And specifically with fitness, our brain works well when we have a clear, specific goal. We know exactly what it is, where we're headed, right? So dial that in. I encourage you. I am happy and grateful now that I am your weight and body fat that you want to be. I am happy and grateful now that I am, right? So how I say my goals, I am happy and grateful now that I am, and I say it, I at least 190 pounds, because I want to be at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. See, in my case, I could be 195 pounds. As long as I'm 10% body fat, I'm achieving my goal. I recently, and you can move it up or down, but that is a clear, specific goal. So that's the point I want you to take away from this, is to have a clear, specific fitness goal. Now, once we have that clear, specific goal, then we're going to do the 5 simple steps. And the 5 simple steps simply is have an exercise program, eat healthy, get your rest, supplement intelligently, and have a good fitness mindset. Those are the 5, big 5, the big 5. I had a mentor one time that used to say that in any major area of life, that there are really only about a half a dozen things that, if done properly, fundamentals, you'll be successful. Whether it's finances or fitness or relationships or spirituality, some just core fundamental things that if you do in those areas, you'll be successful. With fitness, it's being on an exercise program, or you work how many days a week. And that's the first thing I want to encourage you to. I can dive into the technical. Sometimes I get so tempted, but I want to share this with you right now, is to just set up a basic plan. It doesn't matter where you're at, as long as it's some kind of plan. What I would do if I was helping you set it up, I would set up either a 3 or a 4 or a 5-day plan, depending on how much time you have and how much energy you want to put into it, right? Now, I'm on a 5-day plan. I love to work out. Not everybody likes to work out, but the more you can put into it, the more you're going to get out of it, right? So if you have that time and ability to do 5 days a week, and your ambition is bold, then I encourage you to do 5 days a week. If you're a busy parent and you have a professional job, maybe you're a dentist, and then you have a lot of stuff going on. But if you could get in 3 times, somehow if you can figure out, which even that I know is hard for some people, but if you can get in 3 good workouts every week, you can have fitness success and feel that momentum. Right? You can feel that momentum, right? Now, when it comes to your exercise program, I encourage you to consider having a combination of strength training and cardiovascular training. So imagine for a moment that we're flying on an airplane and we have two engines on the airplane. One engine is cardiovascular exercise and one engine is strength training exercises, building the muscles. So now imagine if we only had one engine working on the airplane. How efficient would it be, right? It wouldn't be very efficient, right? So if we just had one engine, so some people either love cardio and hate weights, or they love weights and hate cardio. And I've built a love for both. But so that's the thing. We want to have both engines going on your airplane, both cardiovascular and strength training. So when you do your 3 days a week, somehow incorporate both cardiovascular work and strength training work. I hope that makes sense, right? Then also too, just to kind of summarize up on exercising, there are basically 5 basic principles within exercise. It's proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. And we can really get in deep dive into that, right? But just simply, right? Why would we want to do proper form? So we don't get hurt, right? And so that we're being effective with our time and our energy, right? Proper form is critical. You can learn proper form on YouTube. You can learn proper form with me. I do virtual training. You can learn but I study proper form all the time. And I feel like I encourage you to take on a study of proper form if you're interested in exercising and this sort of thing. And then the more you learn, you start off with 1 or 2 things you learn, and then you add a couple more things. The next week you learn, you add a couple more. And eventually, I've been doing this for decades, but so eventually you have this huge repertoire of exercises and ideas of ways to exercise. So it becomes a more and more fun the deeper you go with it. So I encourage you to do proper form, right? So proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Incorporate those 5 things in your training program, and you're going to be successful. So that's training. Now let's look at nutrition. Imagine for a moment that we want to build a beautiful 2-story house from scratch. And we're just trying to build this beautiful house. Now imagine that we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? Not very far, right? If we only have half the materials necessary to build this beautiful house, our dream house that we're trying to build, we're only going to get about halfway, right? So the foods that we all eat, that you eat, that I eat, the foods that we all eat are the supplies that goes towards building your body, just like the supplies necessary to build a house. Does that make sense? So I encourage you to consider a whole food, plant-based diet composed of about 50% fruits and vegetables and 25% whole grains and 25% proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds, proteins, powder, smoothies, if you like. It's all kind of delicious ways to get in healthy stuff and just love what you eat. I love what I eat. I had a very healthy. We had some kind of superfood bowl place around town. I wanted to try it out, and they're just coming up with all kind of creative ways to be healthy and tasty, right? So I encourage you to get into it, and don't be afraid to eat, because when you eat healthy, it's not going to spill over and store as fat. If it's fibrous food, I feel like it's the fiber in the fruits and the vegetables. It's the fiber that's going to control insulin and blood sugar, right? So while we're talking about that, let's take a look at dig into the types of food just a little bit deeper. So imagine for a moment that we want to build a fire in a fireplace. And on one hand, we have a stack of paper, right? And on the other hand, we have a stack of oak wood, right? They're not counting, getting the fire started, but if we had to choose between the oak wood or the paper to burn in your fireplace, which one would you pick and why? Well, most of us would choose the oak wood. And why is that? Well, the oak wood is going to burn slower, more efficiently, right? So foods like fruits and vegetables and whole grains and nuts and lentils and beans, they have a lot of fiber in them, and they burn really slow, right? So it really has a nice insulin and blood sugar control, right? So that's very important. So training, nutrition. Oh, before I leave off nutrition, consider watching the documentary The Game Changers. It's on Netflix and YouTube. And consider watching Forks Over Knives, right? So training, nutrition, I'm going to have to jump off in a second. So training, nutrition, recovery, get approximately 7.5 to 9 hours sleep at night. We're going to do some deep dives into, I want to get into some recovery talk. Recovery is huge. It is a huge topic, right? We want to make sure we don't overtrain, get enough, make sure you get that, and get our sleep. I've had the honor of training 3 different neurologists, one a neuroradiologist over the last several years, and they know a lot about brain health and sleep studies and all that. 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night that's where the gold is on sleep. So training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, right? Basically 2 different categories of supplements: nutritional supplementation, enhancement supplementation. Basically, a nutritional supplement can be like a protein shake, a smoothie. An enhancement performance supplement can be like a over-the-counter creatine, monohydrate, or even prescription medications from a doctor, right? But remember, the basics are training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, then mindset, right? The last but not least is mindset. Now, imagine for a moment that we're trying to build a big, beautiful resort, right? And tall building. We're trying to build a tall building. And, we have this machine out front. It's got the person in the bottom and the big crane, like that. And the person's pulling the levers, right? I feel like our brain, our mindset is like that person pulling the levers. So when you create your workout, say you're going to work out 3 days a week, and you're going to go tomorrow. You wake up in the morning, you're supposed to go at 7 a.m. I'm just speculating. Now, sometimes you may have in the mindsets, it's cold outside, it's wintertime. I know half the USA is having a cold front coming through right now. I don't want to go out in the cold or whatever. Stay in bed and then you skip, right? That happens a lot. That's the mindset. That's the weak mindset. But now, Monday morning sometimes I find kind of interesting. That Monday morning can be kind of a tough morning for people to get going, but I love Monday mornings. I thrive on Monday mornings. I want to hit that cardio first right when I can get to it. So when I get my first 20 or 30 minute break, I'm either doing a 20-minute hit or a 30-minute steady state. And I thrive on that. My mindset is I'm going to get that and get it done because I want that benefit of having done that cardiovascular exercise. But that's a mindset. See how my mind, I feel like our minds control our bodies. It's best that our mind controls our bodies, not the other way around. So I'm going to tell my body, I'm doing cardio in the morning at this time, whatever time it is. My mind tells my body. if I don't feel like doing it because I'm tired or just feel lazy or whatever, I'm not going to let my body tell my mind what to do, right? So it doesn't work that way. Not if you want to be in shape. Like this title says, get back in shape. 5 simple steps is we must take action on the steps. If you say you're going to work out 3 days a week, work out 3 days a week. If you say you're going to eat healthy, doesn't mean you got to be perfect, but at least 80% or better eat healthy. And then just follow the fundamentals. Stick to the basics: proper training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, mindset. Stick to those basics over and over again, whether it's 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it is, right? So I'm going to wrap it up with that. And remember that our health is wealth. Keep that in mind. Our health is wealth. Consider taking care of your health. I keep hearing a lot of stories on how people are having some serious setbacks in their health. And a lot of it's sometimes accidental things happen, bad things happen, but a lot of these things are lifestyle situations. So it's things that we could choose to do differently. So I encourage you to remember health is wealth, right? And then if I can be of any service to you, please let me know. And my goal is to come at you here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday around 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be blessed, and I'll see you on Thursday. Bye for now.